Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Child, we didn't get a break. We are back with Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 1. And y'all know what that means. More timey impressions and more getting into it as we get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time or another season of Ready to Love, y'all please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Liking helps the algorithm and it helps your girl. And honey, it's free of charge. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, we're introduced to Paul. He's 48 years old, a software engineer, and a certified cornball. Yes, I deemed him a certified cornball. He gives himself nicknames and switches them based on who he's talking to. A whole fool. He said the Lion King ain't got nothing on him. Okay, Mufasa, moving forward. He said the energy he wants from a woman has to be sexual. He wants to come home and have food on the table. Better yet, put her on the table. It's a no and it's a hell no and it's a yuck for me. Okay, I already leading with sex. Ugh. Then he goes, but you know, it has to have some substance. Sure it does, sir. You must have realized this was going to air on TV. It has to have some substance. Then we get introduced to Dakia. She's 39 years old. She's a sucker for love and she's ready to mix and mingle. And she said she is vaxxed and waxed. Well, honey, don't tell Paul or your wax will be on the table. Okay, I'm just saying. She meets Paul first and he's talking and she's like, hi, I'm Dakia. He said, you're beautiful. Is that your other name? Wah, wah, wah. Paul, shut up. I hate a corny pickup line. It's giving corn on the cob, honey. It's giving corn dog. Moving forward. She said, is that a pickup line already? Honey, and is. She was like, oh, you don't waste no time. Absolutely none. So then we get introduced to Tiffany. She's 37 years old. And I want to say this before we continue on with the ages and whatnot. Ready to Love. I know y'all like to, fabricate a job title. It seems like you're fabricating those ages as well. That's just a side note. Anywho, she said, she loves to touch and be touched. Touched. She said, so that tell you what type of party it is. Baby, this cast is leading with some sexual innuendos, ain't they, honey? All the windows open. Moving forward. Then we're introduced to Wiley. He's 32. He's giving sports analogies as soon as he walks through the door. Honey, still wearing his sports ring and whatnot. I don't know if he's still living his glory days or what's happening. I don't know if it's the high school ring, it's the Super Bowl ring, it's the NAACP ring. Honey, I don't know nothing about football. All I know is he's wearing one. That's all I know. He said that his name came from his grandfather's middle name because his name was Clarence Wiley. And he is so glad that he did not get the name Clarence. Anybody want to tell him? Okay, let's just continue. He said he's a former athlete and he's trying to break the athlete stigma because you know how they say most athletes have a lot of women. Okay. Then 3 more singles show up. Precious, Fernando. That's all I can think of when I hear his name. Precious, Fernando, and Tori. So Fernando said, chivalry isn't dead over on this side when it comes to him. Okay, Fernando, we need to resuscitate the chivalry in all these men, okay? Because a man will leave a door slammed in your face in a minute. So the fact that Fernando said that chivalry is not dead, that's 1 point for him in my book. Now, child, let's continue. So they're all talking, right? And so Precious asked where Fernando was from. And he said, I'm from Baltimore. She said, oh, I almost said Baltimore. Okay. She was like, I didn't want to be disrespectful. I didn't want to be rude. But I almost said it. But why, though? She's like, oh, I didn't want to offend you. Then why even say that you almost said it? Because you still said it. Girl, goodbye. After she said that, they immediately cut to Fernando saying that his ex had no respect for him. She would sleep with people in his home and invite men on trips. He said, now, how can you say you love somebody if you go to a swingers convention without me? I mean, at least take me. Okay. I was about to feel bad for him. I really was. Until he said he wanted to join in on the festivities. Moving forward. Child, this is a whole fool. Then we catch up with Kina. She's 39. She is a diva. She says she wants the man to leave, but she's there to pull the strings. She said the first man she met was Fernando, but his butt was too big. And she likes a man that's flat in the back. Their butts cannot be the same size. Sis, he's a larger guy. If he was flat in the back, he would be built like a lowercase d. Okay, so what exactly do you want from him? I'm a little bit confused. Like, why you shading this man? You shading him in your slip? It's a good thing you got on one, honey, because it's definitely showing with that comment. A few more singles show up. Demetrius was a hot commodity, honey. All the women loved him. And I'm starting to realize that they like him, okay? Bald, bearded, and biggin'. Those are the 3 B's. If you can put some biggin' in that beard and you bald, you're in that thing. Okay, that's why Clifton was a very pleasant surprise. And I liked me some Clifton. Clifton, if you don't make it, honey, call me. No, I'm just kidding. So let's continue. So he shows up. He's 42, a general contractor, and he was all right. I mean, the suit does make the man, because this suit was sitting right. I ain't gonna lie to you. When Precious saw him, child, she had a little hint of drool coming down the side of her mouth. I said, baby, close your mouth up. So they go over to talk, right? And she immediately honed in on him. I hope this is not another Camille, because, child, I cannot go through that this season. She said he was so beautiful that her soul jumped out of her dress. Child. Dang, girl, go take a little sip of water. You seem a little parched. So they sit down, right? And she tells him that he's gorgeous. And he's like, thank you. So then he tells us a little bit about himself. He said he had a little style, but he never tapped into it because he was in the military. Baby, they showed that picture from the military, and I'm going to say this. A beard will give a man some zhuzh if it don't do nothing else. Because, baby, without that beard... I'm just saying, child, just saying. He said he joined the military straight out of high school, and he was just running from woman to woman to woman. And as soon as he said military, I was instantly turned off. No offense to anybody that's in the military, but I have had 3 very scary experiences with military men, and that is a no for me. I cannot do that. As soon as you say, I was in the military, I'm immediately turned off. I dry all the way the hell up. It's not going to work for me. So they're having a little banter back and forth, and she's asking him about dates, and he said that he's outdoorsy, and she was like, oh, that's cool, as long as you'll come to a pole dancing class with me. He was like, oh, I'm definitely down for that. Now, Precious, honey, I hope you know that he means he's there to watch you and those stilettos go up and down that pole. Moving forward. Then we catch up with Sabrina. Oh, okay, we got another Sabrina. She's 36. She has a list. He has to be consistent, considerate, and loves black people. I know that's right, girl. Wakanda forever. And he has to be hot AF. So we meet Mr. Speed Date himself, because that's what I call him. Laverne, child. We meet him, and he said he doesn't care if Beyonce Giselle Knowles was in the building. He wants one person, and he wants someone that wants him. He's never experienced someone that only wants to be with him. Aw, poor guy. I understand that. Because I just had an epiphany the other day. I said, you know what? I have never had a person that wanted only me. Like, you're honed in on me. You love on me. You want all things me, Sha. Honey, I've never had it. So I totally understand Laverne. But I wasn't really feeling Laverne. And I'm going to tell y'all why a little bit later. Side note. Speaking of Giselle, they should have called her on over for Ready to Love. I mean, she in Potomac. Shout out to the Real Housewives of Potomac. Moving forward. So then Clifton shows up, but he's just refreshing to look at. He didn't come in no suit, all stuffed up. Baby, he came in this little, his casual clothes was still giving a little bit of zhuzh, and he was just casual and wasn't cocky and just had this confidence about him. Like, I could just see it through the screen. I'm just saying. He gives me Gerald Levert. I'm just saying. I loved it. Honey, because you know how they like to cast them bald and bearded. And don't get me started on that voice. He was giving me Barry White mixed with that guy from Boys to Men whose name escapes me at the moment. Well, honey, y'all put it down in the comments. He was giving me if those two had a baby. And that's what Clifton was giving me. He said he wants a woman like himself that's loud and outgoing. Moving forward. So then Tommy shows up to get the party going. Who's looking for real love? Okay, Tommy. I missed you, Tommy. I missed you. Because you sure skipped on out on that reunion. You think you slick, honey, and you ain't fooling me. He was like, who's looking for love? Who's tired of playing games? Child, they all raising their hand, but half of them, y'all know they lying. Especially you, Paul. Okay, because you already started with the games as soon as you came out the gate. Boy, goodbye. So Tommy said, it's time to slow it down and simplify. Y'all say it with me. Simplify. Why was Tommy acting like a drill sergeant? Everything he said, it was giving major pain vibes. I was like, well, what is wrong with you? So, they usually start with 20 singles, but this time it's quality over quantity. 7 men and 7 women. And I must say this. Season 1 of Ready to Love was my absolute favorite season. In between me reviewing these shows, I happened to go back down memory lane. And I got to rewatch season 1 because OWN released all of the episodes for season 1. This season is reminiscent of that to me. It's the laid back way that it's being shown. And I don't know, it was something about it that was parallel to that season. Not saying it's going to be as good as season 1, because season 1 was everything. The camaraderie, the way they rallied around each other, the way the women respected each other. I just loved everything about season 1. I don't know if this season is going to be that way, but that's the vibe it was giving me. So anywho, that's just a side note. I feel like this season is going to be short because there's only 7 men and 7 women, and 2 of them are going home tonight. So they're all mingling, and Fernando had his eye on Joy in her green dress. So Fernando is sitting there looking like a deacon. I was like, what is going on? I said, what is this little deacon? Baby, he had a little pin on his tie. I said, baby, this is giving me deacon second pew, okay? So he's getting to know her, and she was like, yeah, I'm a professional singer. He's like, do you have any kids? She said, no. He's like, well, do you want kids? She said, well, if I find the right person. So he's asking question after question after question. Sir, loosen up. Okay. Just loosen up. Just be yourself. Have a conversation. But Joy, you have to engage in a conversation. When he hit you with a question, hit it with one back. But see, you didn't like Fernando, and that's perfectly fine. You were sitting down and you were talking, getting to know him, but you didn't really like him. And I mean, it was clear. It's almost not fair because it's a pressure cooker type situation and you're trying to get to know them. But at the same time, you can't catch a vibe under all this pressure. She was like, yeah, he used that time like an interview process. Well, he definitely dressed like he was on one. Moving forward. Keena is over there talking to Wiley, and she's 39 and he's 32, right? So she was like, how old are you? He said, I'm 32. She said, oh, you look 35. He said, oh, I do. Well, he said, how old are you? She said, I'm a little bit older. He said, that's okay. I like older women. So then he tells her that, and she, in her confessional, she goes, like, no one here is terrible, but I probably wouldn't talk to him in real life. Like, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I don't like to rob the cradle. He's 32 and you're 39. He's not 22. He's not 18. She's had a negative response to every man that she's met. Girl, if you don't like nobody, then why are you here? You don't even know the man. Like, you have to be open on a show like this. Like, get to know some people. Okay, he's not your cup of tea. He's not your zhuzh. Move on over, honey, to somebody else. She's like, I'm just going to go ahead and go mingle. He said, okay. So he gets up. He said Keena was very blunt, aka rude. And he said, I kind of like that about her, but at the same time, I didn't get good vibes, so it's not a match for me. Moving forward. So she ventures on over to Clifton. Then they pan over to Sabrina, and she's talking to Demetrius. She's 36, and she says she's Sabrina 2.0. She knows what she's bringing to the table, and she knows what she wants out of a man. Oh, okay, so we got another Sabrina, and we got another Joy. Okay. So her and Demetrius, they go sit and they chat for a little bit, and they were both married, and he said he cheated in his marriage, but after that he tried to figure out the why. You did it because you're selfish and you wanted to have sex with another woman. That's the why, probably. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, child. He said that he's in counseling, which is a good thing, and he's still in counseling right now. Okay, that's good. I just hope that you're applying the knowledge that you are getting from counseling. And she said her marriage didn't work because they were both young and, things just happened, but she went to counseling as well. And it helped her to realize that some things just don't work out. And as much as you want them to, sometimes it just doesn't happen. And that is so true. So he's like, the fact that they are connecting on the level of having gone through similar things, he feels like she'll understand his journey and how he got from there to here. Oh, okay, I like that. Okay. So then they pan over to Precious and Paul, and he is there calling himself P.O. She said, oh, okay, like Popo? He said, no, as in post office, because I deliver. Ugh. Okay, I rolled my eyes so hard. Child, almost rolled my eyes into the back of my head when he said that. Like, go away from me with this, Apollo. Get away from me, sir. Like, I can't stand a corny man. I cannot stand it. He been probably working on that line since he got picked for the show. And quiet as it's kept, the post office been unreliable lately. Honey, if that says anything. Moving forward. She's like, so what you delivering? Absolutely nothing. Child, let's continue. So he sits down at the table, says that to a few other ladies. So Joy said, Paul calls himself P.O. because he delivers like the post office, but so does Grubhub. I like Joy. I know that's right, Joy. Honey, it ain't making absolutely no sense. So then he starts talking to another lady, which is Ace. And he asked her about herself. She's 37. She's been married and divorced. So he's like, wait. Hold on. Like, when were you married? She said, over 10 years ago. He said, so you were married a day and it was over? I know that conversation would have been over. I know that. She was like, no, it lasted about a year or two. He said, so you didn't give it a chance. Sir, there can be a lot of reasons that the marriage did not work. Like, who are you? Have you ever been married, Mr. P.O.? P.O. is an N.O. for me. She's like, I don't know. I just really don't know how to answer that. Girl, don't answer that at all, child. Don't worry about him. He's like, what does that look like now? Like, are you going to check out if things aren't going right? She said, I was young. So then he brings it back to her, talking about she's just very closed off. I can't get a read on this chick. You're rude. Okay? He's like, are you intimidated by me? Honey, I see why he's single. Moving forward. In the next scene, Precious and Tori, they go off to the side to get to know each other, and they start talking about Romeo and Juliet. And it switched gears. They started talking about their parents, and she asked him what kind of advice would his mom give to him. And he opened right on up, child, letting her know that he didn't have the best relationship with his mom. She never showed him affection or told him that she loved him. And so he tells us that his mom was in the military and his grandmother raised him, and they never really got to cultivate a relationship. And I appreciated the openness and willingness for him to share with Precious, but it was giving me the first time Sabrina and Walter sat down and had a conversation. And we all know how that ended, child. I'm just saying. So Precious then tells him in turn that she was estranged from her mom and has been for about 15 years. And she was raised by her aunt. And that showed her that family is what you make it. She said she wanted to have children, but she's a little bit closed off because of her relationship with her own mom. And that reminded me of Kenya Moore over on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and how she had their relationship with her mom or lack thereof. And Aunt Lori used to step in for her if you're a Real Housewives of Atlanta watcher. That's just a side note. Tori said he liked Precious putting it all out there. He said that Precious is a vibe. And that's a vibe. You want a vibe. I know that's right. Moving forward. Child, I done had a whole therapy session real quick. So Tommy shows back up because it's time to talk to the ladies. So he asks them who all caught their eyes, and all you hear is Demetrius. It was given very much Marsha. I'm like, oh, baby. Everybody loves him some Demetrius. All of the ladies were saying his name, and they were feeling him and his eggplant suit. So Joy also said Clifton. She said, I feel safe with him. He's 6'4", big and strapping. I just feel protected. He's like a big teddy bear. Then Precious also said Tori. As far as who they weren't feeling, they said Fernando because the conversation wasn't very engaging. Joy said Fernando as well because he's missing some oomph. Basically, he's not giving the zhuzh that needs to be given. Of course, they said P.O., honey, because he got the G.O. And Tommy said, P.O.? Where do you get that from? Because the only P.O. I know is a parole officer. I know that's right, Tommy. I don't know where you got that from either, child. He thought it was going to sound cool on TV. Big old cornball. Basically, a lot of the ladies are on one accord with who to eliminate. Ace said, I didn't really like talking to P.O. It felt real combative. She meant combative. Child, she meant combative. She really did. And she said, I felt like he was just like coming at me. It's one thing to be motivational, and it's one thing to ask, why are you this way? And it's very off-putting. And he was also very judgy. If he had it all figured out, he wouldn't need Ready to Love. So then they all gather back in one room, right? So then Tommy tells them that it's time for the first elimination. He said, after speaking with all the ladies, the gentleman that isn't ready to love is Fernando. You can go ahead and say your goodbyes, homeboy. Baby, say bye and go on home, child. You don't know these people. You could chuck up the deuces on your way out. Moving forward. Yes, Fernando, your time has expired, honey. You did not get the job with all your interview questions and whatnot. They decided to go another way, but we'll be in touch. See you at the reunion. Now that he's gone, there's one woman that has to go home as well, so they mingle a little bit more. Child, y'all better make it count. So Clifton in his smooth groove voice, they over there talking with Joy. I love how laid back he is. Baby, Clifton got those hands folded up, resting on top of that little belly. Baby, I love it. He is not pressed at all. Do y'all hear me? I love his calm, confident demeanor. I love it. Baby, I love a man with some silent confidence. Give it to me. So these two are flirting real heavy, and they actually look real cute together. She said he saw what he wanted and he went after it. And with everybody else, she feels like she had to peel back the layers. Joy, it's literally been a half a day. What layers? You're just asking, what's your name? What's your sign? Soon as he buy that wine, you just creep up from behind. Like, girl, shout out to Biggie. Girl, it's been nothing. It's been absolutely nothing. Moving forward. So they sitting there, right? And he was like, what you drinking? And she said, I'm drinking the same Prosecco from like an hour ago. And so she offered him some. And he took it. She was like, you know, my lips been all over there, right? He was like, oh, that make it even better. Not y'all sharing drinks as strangers during this pandemonium. Oh, no, ma'am, honey. Oh, absolutely no, ma'am. And backwash too? Oh, child. Y'all better choose each other. Y'all go together now. He said that his realest connection was Joy, and he knows that he could get to know other women, but if it's organic, then why stop? Yeah, we love when it's organic. Every season, they put all their eggs in one basket. Every season, somebody does it. Now, it worked out for Mike and Shay from season 1. I guess it worked out for Camille and Cornelius, honey, but we don't know whether they up or down. We didn't even really be able to get into it as we get into it and investigate what happened over there, because now we over here with them. But I actually like this cast. I like them as a whole. I feel like there are a lot of different dynamics. There are a lot of multifaceted players, and I feel like these people are more real. It doesn't seem so Hollywood, like I'm an IG model, I'm a this, I'm a that. It seems like real people with real jobs looking for real love. Thank you. Finally. Moving forward. So Tori and Tiffany, they're getting to know each other, and she told him she has 2 sons and she's afraid of being hurt. Baby, join the club, honey. But why are you here? Because it doesn't seem like you're all the way ready to love. You seem really guarded, and you really got to let people in during this process. You got to let your guard down, and you got to be able to just go with the flow. And actually, Tori could sense that. He said, I feel like it's something that's holding her back. Over on the other side, Sabrina is talking to Laverne, honey. Laverne over there looking for his Shirley. And she's like, so where are you from? He said, Gary, Indiana. What you know about that place? She said, nothing. Girl, what? Everybody knows that Gary, Indiana is the home of the Jackson family. 2300 Jackson Street. We call it home. And speaking of, child, I gotta hear up this review, child, because I gotta go over there and see what I was doing with Janet Jackson. And that review we will talk about on my Patreon. But child, that's gonna be good. I cannot wait to see the documentary, honey. But how you didn't know that was all Jacksons all the time? Like, you ain't never watched The Jacksons and American Dream? VH1 used to play that at least 3 times a week. And it's about to be Black History Month too. Girl, that used to be in heavy rotation, and every time it came on, I would sit down and watch it like it was the first time I ever seen it. I love that American Dream, baby. That is my movie. You said you wanted your man to love black people. Every black person I know has seen that movie at least once. Well, honey, I said every black person I know. Might not be every black person you know. Okay? I'm just saying. Moving forward. He said, Michael Jackson, you losing points. You losing points with me. She said, oh, that's y'all claim to fame. Baby, these people a mess. So here comes Precious. Baby, Precious is making her presence known. Do y'all hear me? Honey, she walking around with this bad wig on, this little dress, honey, and she gonna sit down and she gonna talk. So she comes in and she interjects. And he said, yeah, I got a little Vern corner going. So in the confessional, he was like, I never just wanted to sit in the corner and be the cool guy, but I am cool. Ugh. Child, all his corniness and his corn on the cob this season. So they started talking about her being a bikini model and if he was going to rub the oil all over her body. And he was like, of course. They're talking for just a little bit. Here comes Keena in her slip, and she wants a turn. Not Laverne having his own speed dating segment. I said, child, this chair has turned at least 3 or 4 times. So Precious says she likes him, but she doesn't like how social he is. He has to get to know other people. You've talked to every man in here. Girl, pipe down. So he's like, well, welcome to Laverne's den. It's something about him I'm not feeling. I don't know if it's him just sitting back and wanting the women to flock to him and not feeling like he has to do much. But I feel like the women were working overtime. You're so handsome. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. I didn't really hear very many compliments for the women, but that's every season of Ready to Love except season 1. He's like, well, welcome to Laverne's Den. So they pan over to the other singles getting acquainted. So Clifton and Dakia, they started talking about their 5-year plan and where they wanted to live. They both wanted to live by the water. They over there alone, right? And here comes Keena. Ma'am, what happened to Mr. Gary, Indiana? She's like, yeah, we finally get some alone time. And here comes Keena. Honey, I know that's right, child. She was coming in between everybody's little dates. He was nice about it, though. So he included her in the conversation, and he asked her where she would like to live in 5 years. And in her confessional, she said, I really just wanted some Advil. And I just want to sit down because my head hurt. Baby, you just want to have a place to sit. You need to ask production. Don't interrupt them getting to know each other. If you're not interested in getting to know him, then don't sit down and interrupt a connection that could be possibly starting. Don't do that. She said, I wouldn't mind Houston or Atlanta. Child, ain't nothing out here. Didn't you see our season? Ain't nothing out here. We still looking for Ready to Love. So Clifton said, well, I think she was just trying to find somewhere to sit down. Yes, she was, Clifton. And was. So then Tommy shows up again because it's time for him to speak to the fellas. He's like, they hate to see me coming. Yes, they do. But they love to watch you leave because they know they can be themselves. So he's sitting there with Clifton and Paul. And he said, okay, so tell me what PO stands for. Here go, Paul. Pretty outstanding. Oh my God. Clifton said, parole officer. I know that's right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Everybody trying to figure out what that stands for. Pretty outstanding. Child, he's saying any old thing. He said, it stands for post office because I deliver. Mr. Postman, please stop repeating that. Okay, please stop. It's not giving what you think it's giving. It's really not. So Tommy asked about who's delivering as far as who they're feeling. And they said Sabrina. Sabrina's name came up a lot. Precious, Dakia, and also Joy. So then he asked who they didn't have a connection with. And they said Keena because she's more of a friend. Ace, her name came up as well. And Tiffany because of how guarded she is. And it's time for the women to be eliminated. So they all gather around. And Tommy is like, give yourselves a round of applause for making it to the end. He said one more person has to leave. He said, after speaking with the fellas, it was 2 ladies at risk. The first woman is Tiffany and the second is Keena. The woman not ready to love is Keena. They picked the right one. She said, I'm just so guarded. So my attitude was coming off nonchalant. And don't forget rude. Girl, bye. I'm happy the men made the decision based on the connection and not the looks. I think they made the right choice because Keena wasn't exactly connecting with people. And it just wasn't working out. And Tommy said that they're honing in on quality over quantity. He said, I am your quality control advisor. And every week it shifts. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Goodbye, Tommy. Goodbye and good night. And that was the end of episode 1. Ooh, honey, we are back on the Ready to Love ride. I am ready to get in this thing. I actually am a little bit excited about this season. I think it's going to give us something. I really do. I feel good about it, but we shall see. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about the episode. And child, if y'all watched the episode, because some of y'all were over there hanging out with Janet Jackson, but she's coming on all night tonight. Don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.